So Rishi Sunak has just delivered his final speech as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, standing in front of number 10 Downing Street, announcing his intention to step down as leader of the Conservative Party as well. He is, of course, right now meeting King Charles III, and who will, of course, meet him, and then he will formally resign as Prime Minister before sending for Sir Keir Starmer to take over as the new Prime Minister. Joining us now is Geeta Mohan, who is there as crowds are gathering on the scene. Could you tell us what's happening there?
Well, Shashank, let me first show you what's happening around here. There are people, supporters of the Labour Party, who've come out to say goodbye to Rishi Sunak, and there's Steve over here who'd come playing music as well. He got into a bit of a tiff with the cops here because he was not allowed to play. So, Steve, what's the message here?
Well, the message here today is a bit of celebration, a bit of protest. So this Tory party who have absolutely decimated our country.
Okay, and you've also written Why Brexit, and you sang Bye Bye Tory.
We sang Bye Bye Tories after this. We told we couldn't play the amps. It's good riddance. This Tory party, we've had 14 years and there is no achievement whatsoever. They've dragged this country to the pits of despair.
Right.
Through austerity, Brexit, the way they handle COVID, their parties, it's unbelievable what they've got away with.
And now we'll see Keir Starmer come in.
Keir Starmer, about 12:30, making a speech. And hopefully this is the end of the Tory party for decades.
Well, what's the expectation? There are a lot of challenges even for Keir Starmer. He's taking on a country with a dwindling economy. Things are not looking good. There are challenges with regards to immigration. What do you think Keir Starmer has to offer?
Well, he's saying that we're not joining the customs union, single market. He actually said he will put the country before the party. So if he's true to word, we need to get back into the European Union.
Okay.
There's a huge hole in our economy and our tax revenue.
Okay, there are other Labour supporters. Do you want to join in?
Hello.
And you were singing Bye Bye Tory.
Yeah, the Tories are out. We're an opposition party.
And what were you singing?
Bye bye Tories, because Rishi has screwed over this country.
Okay.
Thank God he did.
All right, we can do away with the language, but the gentleman over here actually is reflecting what the country is feeling right now. And Shashank, if you see right behind me, a lot of security deployments for all the obvious reasons. There are a lot of people over here, and the people on the other side of the road as well. Interestingly, there are some who are tourists, travelers. They were just passing by, saw all the crowd and joined in just to see what's happening. Just a while ago, Rishi Sunak left from 10 Downing to Buckingham Palace. He's tendered his resignation. So it's an important day. It's an important day because after 14 years of Conservative rule, we're looking at change. Will that change really bring about what the people of this country want and have been wanting? Is something we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of excitement among the Labour supporters over here. And if you look at the media contingent, there are tons of them inside, just outside the 10 Downing door. And then there are so many here outside. It's the international media as well. That's in full. They're all here to cover this major event. And in some time from now, we are also told that after having tendered his resignation, Rishi Sunak will be moving to Richmond, his constituency, his home, and Keir Starmer will then come and take over. We've done a lot of stories. There's an entire Twitter profile of Larry the cat. So absolutely. Larry over here will be waiting for his new guest, Keir Starmer.
His sixth Prime Minister, absolutely, his sixth Prime Minister. So he's, of course, been the most effective and the most determined tenant of number 10 Downing Street. But, if I could ask in terms of, how the day has played out, is the new government, will it be constituted today with the relevant people? For example, will the new government, the Labour government, take office today or tomorrow? How does it work?
That's an interesting question. The fact that there are no surprises, maybe just a few, but not many, in the government when the government takes over, is because Shashank, there are shadow ministers, shadow secretaries that are always there in the opposition. So we know who the people are, the key people who would be a part of Keir Starmer's cabinet. But we'll have to wait and see what the Indian presence is going to look like in Keir Starmer's cabinet. We do know that there are certain people within the Labour Party who do not have very nice things to say about India. And again, Keir Starmer has already made his intention clear that he would want greater ties with India. So again, the balancing will have to be done over there, whether if he would allow and have those people in the cabinet or not. Having said that, announcement of the cabinet, we do not know whether it's going to happen today, but we already know who are the people who actually are going to form the government and who are going to be key people who are going to be part of the cabinet. Now, there are lampoonists also who have come here. I can't show you the entire cartoon, but yes, they've come here with all the pictures of those who lost, primarily the Conservatives and Nigel Farage as well. So it's a lively place right now. A lot of people, a lot of fanfare, a lot of tourists, lots who are taking videos of us reporting, Shashank. So it's an interesting place today. Look at that. General election results, and the board says Tories are Sunaked or Sunaked.
Right. No, that's
So,
right. Yes.
Lot of people with placards, boards, and it is an exciting time for those who want to change. A little gloom for those who actually wanted the Conservatives to return. But like you and I have been reporting, Conservatives' vote bank itself was quite split this time, and those who really thought that Rishi Sunak was not doing his part as a Conservative actually split and voted Nigel Farage. So a split within the Conservative, whether it's the vote bank or the infighting within the party.
Absolutely, and it is very interesting, just to hear Rishi Sunak's final speech as Prime Minister. He sort of apologized to the country. He said that he heard the anger of the country and the disappointment of the British citizenry, and he apologized for it. He also referred to his opponent, Keir Starmer, who is, of course, set to take over as Prime Minister, and praised him as a public-spirited man, wished him the best, which was an interesting and I think very civil sort of speech to have made, to have graciously accepted that defeat.
I do think I agree with you. I think it was a very dignified speech made by Rishi Sunak on his way out, and he also said that he'd spoken to Keir Starmer. So a lot when it comes to the diplomatically handling the moving out of a government and moving in of a government. It's a smooth transition. Nothing like what we saw in the United States of America. Imagine, Shashank, I don't even have to compare a smooth transition of government to developing a country or a third world nation. We're talking about comparing a smooth transition in the United Kingdom as opposed to the United States of America. That's where things stand today. So very smooth. It has been done well. And he heard the mandate of the people. It's a thumping majority and a landslide victory for Labour. And there is no other way that Rishi Sunak could have actually accepted this defeat, this loss.
I understand. And, if you'll indulge me a little bit, I was just coming across something, about that Jeremy Hunt, the outgoing Chancellor of the Exchequer, until recently the occupant of number 11 Downing Street, just said, he said this very recently, just today after sort of he won his seat, but of course has lost office as Chancellor, and he said something very nice, and if the viewers and you will bear with me, I'd like to read it out because I thought it was very touching. He said, "A message to my children, who I sincerely hope are asleep right now. This may seem like a tough day for our family as we move out of Downing Street, but it isn't. We are incredibly lucky to live in a country where decisions like this are made not by bombs or bullets, but by thousands of ordinary citizens peacefully placing crosses in boxes and bits of paper. Brave Ukrainians are dying every day to defend their right to do what we did yesterday. and we must never take that for granted. Don't be sad. This is the magic of democracy. I thought that was again something that was very dignified, very gracious, and I think it speaks to the best traditions of a strong democratic system. And it's good to see that in the United Kingdom. Good to see that even with the speeches, the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. He will be moving out. It's a very sweet message to his children that he no longer will be occupying 11 Downing Street as the Chancellor of the Exchequer. But the fact, Shashank, is that in all this, and that's where the Conservatives come from, and that's where the opposition came from. It's a very significant statement. In his tweet, he mentioned that it's a democratic structure, and look how smooth the transition is going to be. No bombs, no guns, like the Ukrainians have had to fight. But the very same example, if one has to give about Israel Gaza, they would almost cringe. That there's no mention of this aspect of war is something that is telling, and it's the reason why those who are completely standing against the Israel-Hamas war, especially the action against civilians in Gaza, are the ones who are now out here standing and supporting the Labour, supporting something, a party that might voice concerns of the other side as well. Look at the wins. Shaukat Adam winning in itself goes to show, and he's in Leicester. And he's been somebody who has openly said that should he win, he will bring the cause of Gaza to the fore.
Right.
So even in this tweet, while it's a very sweet one, it's a message of democracy. But when you are only looking at democracy from a prism and not wholly, then you have these people, Shashank. Then you have these voices that come out into the streets and oppose the powers that be.
I understand. And now just if I may ask you one or two final questions, we of course have Keir Starmer who will come in. We talked about the government being formed. I just need to talk for 1 second about Sunak again, about the fact that he will be resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. Of course, now the Conservative Party, which will now be the opposition, will need a new leader. Any sense of how that is going to play out, how that will work in the near future?
Come again, Shashank?
Yes, absolutely. I was just saying that, of course, now Rishi Sunak stepping down also as leader of the Conservative Party. How exactly is the party going to look for a new leader? Of course, we talked to Amandeep the other day, you and I, and of course, we talked about whether the Conservatives might now need a long spell in opposition to sort of sort out their internal differences. Your view on that?
Well, absolutely. They will have to introspect. They have to get their house in order. They have to see that they look like a cohesive party, not a splintered group of people, and which is what they're looking like right now. So yes, there is going to be a change in leadership. We will have to see who the Conservatives will choose to sit in the opposition as the leader of the opposition. It is going to be an uncomfortable situation for the Conservatives at this juncture, where there's already a lot of infighting. There's a lot of conversation on leadership and the lack of it. So yes, that certainly is going to be a huge conversation within the Conservatives. Right now, their focus certainly is going to be to bring everybody together and put up a front where they can have a face as the leader of the opposition once the government is formed over here, and then decisions start. The government begins to start taking decisions.
Understood. And are you personally going to be standing there in front of where all the action is until Sir Keir Starmer shows up, or is he expected to arrive in the near future?
Absolutely. My day is absolutely planned, not by me, but by circumstances. And so I am going to be here for a while till we see maybe Keir Starmer come into 10 Downing. Let me just go across and see if there are others who'd like to speak. Excuse me. So you're here. Are you from Britain, or?
I am, yes.
And you're here why?
Just to make sure that Rishi Sunak's definitely leaves. He has. We've just made it. The guys have definitely gone. We're just waiting for Keir to turn up.
Okay, so yes. So they're all waiting for Keir to turn up. Like I said, most of them over here are Labour supporters. They're here to ensure There was song and dance over here just a while ago till the cops stopped. Steve, who we were speaking to earlier, they were singing "Goodbye Tories" and was stopped. But then we might see him come back. He's also waiting over here, like many others. Yeah, so like yeah, everybody knows Steve. So they're all waiting over here to see now Keir Starmer turn into 10 Downing Street. He's going to be the new resident of the Prime Minister's home, and surely will be welcomed by Larry the cat, Shashank.
Thank you so much, Geeta, for joining us. Then from there, we will absolutely get back to you when Sir Keir Starmer shows up. For now, I suppose we'll close it there. But as you can see, we've talked about Rishi Sunak's resignation, what Keir Starmer's new government will look like, and what the Conservative Party will need to do now that they've just lost their leader. Thank you so much, Geeta, for joining us, and thank you so much, viewers, for watching again India Today Global.